Tim, should we tell the listeners how to join the Golf Week Amateur Tour?
Yes, of course. We should probably do it now before we forget, though.
I agree. It's simple. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership.
Thanks, Chris. Membership for 2024 is open, so register today to join the oldest, largest, and best amateur tour in the country.
And remember, this podcast can be found on all the major platforms. So make sure you like, download, and share it with all your friends and family.
Chris, that's a great idea. Now, on to the show. All right, Chris, 16 days until the season starts. We got a good episode today. We've got John Farrell, the Director of Sports from Sea Pines. And what else we have?
We're going to run down a couple of regionals to start the season. And for you El Paso and Las Cruces members, make sure you listen all the way through because we're giving away day 9 of the 12 Days of Christmas here on the podcast.
All right, let's get started.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Golf Week Amateur Tour, the podcast. We are your hosts, Tim Newman and Chris Rocha. As the oldest and largest amateur golf tour in the country, we put on individual stroke play golf tournaments that are handicapped by flights in 48 cities across the country. The Golf Week Amateur Tour, where amateurs play like pros. Well, welcome back, Chris. How things been going with your registrations over the last couple of weeks?
They've actually picked up pretty well for both tours. Seen a lot of them come through. I know, it was tough at the beginning, but they're starting to roll in. And now with the 12 Days of Christmas giveaways we're starting to see a lot more come in. So it's been pretty good. We should break over 100 for both tours combined by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Like I saw your first 12 Days of Christmas on Facebook live yesterday. You did a really good job. I like the background of the train set. It was really nice.
I appreciate it. Trying to keep it special every day. Just wait. Yeah. If you're gonna keep watching, just wait.
Okay. Well, did you? Are you all ready for Christmas? You ready to get things going in a couple of days?
No. No, not at all. But you know how it is. We'll wait till the last week and get everything taken care of.
Absolutely. We had my daughter's wedding a couple weeks ago, and you told me not to cry. And when I did my speech, my brothers were sitting at the table with us, and as soon as I got up, I saw money starting to change hands about how long it was going to take before I lost it. I made it 2 minutes, right. Just so you know. Yeah,
that's not bad.
So we have 16 days until the 2023 season kicks off with the Icebreaker at the Jones course of Palmetto Dunes, and then with the Sea Pines course. And so we're lucky enough to have the director of golf at Sea Pines, John Farrell, with us. John, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Tim. Thanks for having me. And Chris. It's a treat.
So, John,
no problem.
John, you've been at Sea Pines since 1989, huh?
I have. It's been quite a run. I hope it's another 30-something years, honestly.
Well, you can't really have a much better place. For those that don't know, Sea Pines is one of the top resorts across the country, and John's going to tell us a little bit about those things as we get going.
It'll be great. I look forward to this.
Yeah, John, nice to meet you. So from what Tim was telling me, you're the director of golf there. I've played a couple of courses, outstanding golf. But what is it being the director of golf at one of the top resorts in the country?
Well, it's an honor, I think is the best way to describe it. It's a absolute treat. And I feel very fortunate from the standpoint that I don't feel like I have to go to work. It's almost like I get to go to work. It's such a privilege to be here. I love what I do. I look forward to getting here. It's such a fun thing to be charged with managing people's leisure time, right? So it's a treat. So people are coming in and they're ready to have some fun. And although my business card might read director of sports, which is golf and tennis and pickleball and things of that nature, but it's more like director of fun. I want to make sure that everybody that comes through our gates leaves and says, man, I can't wait to go do that again. And there's so many different touching points that we have throughout an experience here that we focus on each and every one of them. So it's an absolute blast. We host a PGA Tour event here, which is fun. And everybody says that's got to be the big thing. It is. It's a huge week for us, but we have 51 weeks where we have people that have really high expectations, and we want them to leave saying, I can't wait to do that again. That's our goal every single day.
I've played Atlantic Dunes a couple of years back, and that was by far one of the best experiences I've had. So when you say, 51 weeks out of the year, I appreciate it, because whenever we go out there for our national championship, we try to pick a couple courses to play besides the ones for the tournament.
Right. And it's critical that it's not what the tour player gets, we think you're deserving of. So we don't want to be focusing on just what the tour player gets. We want you to feel like have the same reception, same warm welcome, the same green speeds, the same attendance at the different touching points, including bag drop and beverage carts. And it's the whole experience, and it can't be just part of it that's great. You got to look at all the different touching points and make sure you drill them, you nail them.
John, I appreciate that you said that. I've been, with Golf Week and helping Dennis for almost 15 years now. And every time that we come there, you're absolutely right that the customer service that we get is top notch. Whether it's from even entering the gate, as you come down and come to Sea Pines, the gate attendants are great. The bag drop people are great. Everything is top notch from start to finish.
Well, it's nice to hear, Tim. I'm going to tell him you said so.
I'm sure that again, it's good to it's good for them to hear, but they probably hear it all the time because you being in Hilton Head for 30 plus years, and actually longer than that, but with you being at Sea Pines, that is the premier resort not only on Hilton Head that everybody wants to come and see and partake in all the amenities, but across the nation as well.
We don't rest on that, Tim. We don't, we have a reputation because we have the international TV audience that we get, but we don't rest on our laurels. We're not sitting back saying, all right, we got this. We're looking for ways to get better every day. And it's actually, it's fun. And when it starts at the head of the fish, when you have ownership that's just as committed as we, the foot soldiers, so to speak, when it's such a treat to work for somebody that an ownership group that cares so much about our customer, and they care so much about the customer, and the internal customer and our external customer. So we want to be a premier place to work and a premier place to play.
Just make sure you keep having the ginger snaps in the locker room at Sea Pines. I'll be good to go. I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's you'd be shocked how many people that aren't even playing golf go up to our locker room to get the treats.
So what can the players expect from each of the courses? Let's start with Heron Point. It's the number 9 ranked public course in South Carolina. What can they expect?
So it was designed by Pete Dye, and who we've had a great relationship with. Pete had designed the Harbortown Golf Links and really kind of catapulted him into the national scene. As one of his first golf courses, and then we brought him back in to do Heron Point. What we try and achieve there is to have the tournament type conditions that people get to see on TV on a regular basis over there. So it's a shot maker's golf course. It's got the smaller greens, unlike its sister course from the same building, Atlantic Dunes. It's got 4,000 square foot greens, 3,800 to 4,200 square foot greens. It's got great contouring. It's got a lot of shot values. It's got a lot of times where you have to look at, much like Harbortown, you want to look at where the whole location is before you hit your tee shot. So it's very cerebral, and it's very thought-provoking, and it's playable. So we've gone to great lengths as a resort to have a place to play for those people who aspire to play professionally and collegiate golf, and then we have a place to play for the families that are here recreating and having kind of new to the game, and everybody in between, which is not the easiest thing to do. But when we're committed to it from the beginning, from the design's perspective, we've gone to great lengths to make sure we have a place to play for all ability levels, so people don't come off bloodied if they're new to the game. And at the same time, those that want to go back, like you guys, which we're so flattered to host the Icebreaker and to host your other events through the Golf Week Tour, which we think is just one of the finest run tournament series in the country. It's awesome. It's just a great Heron Point it fits the puzzle for us too, because we have 3 different golf courses now. I used to get called, Tim, all the time. People say, "Get me on Harbortown, get me on Harbortown." Now I get calls and it says, "Get me on one of your golf courses." They don't say just Harbortown, which is let the customer tell me what they're thinking. That's what we're most flattered by.
Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor, Srixon.
A great iron set needs more than good looks. It's got to be fast and got to be pure. But good looks never hurt either. The all-new ZX Mark II irons from Srixon.
Yeah, because you have 3 good courses. So I've played Heron Point, and I've also played Atlantic Dunes. I have not had the time to play Sea Pines, but Atlantic Dunes is probably one of my favorite courses. On the whole island. I mean, it's it's challenging, but the views that you're going to get, the layout is phenomenal. From your perspective, what can we see there?
So Atlantic is very different than Heron Point. It's got wider fairways and bigger greens, but it introduces a fair amount of water real early in the round. Yeah. So 1 and 2 can jump up and bite you. And I see Tim shaking his head like he's experienced that. So
yes, absolutely.
And he's right. You really got to pay attention. What I'm kind of glad to be able to share with you is that Davis Love, and it was our golf course architect for that, who's had great success here as a 5-time champion of the RBC Heritage. Davis was our architect, and Scott Sherman was his architect of note, and his brother Mark participated in the design. When they're being considered to do other projects by other properties, they bring their prospective customers to Atlantic Dunes to see it, to say, "Hey, this is what we're capable of." Because I think that speaks to how proud they are of Atlantic Dunes, and I'm thrilled that they think of it that way, because our customer feels that way too. Our demand for Atlantic Dunes is very high, and people really enjoy it. It's a place where you can have fun. The views, you got ocean view, you got great dune views. It's just playable. Again, like at Heron Point, you can stretch it out and make it as hard as you want, or you can get it up, move it up and play it shorter for the family too. We've gone, as we have with Heron, we've got a place to play for families too. So we checked a lot of boxes with those 2 golf courses, and we're really proud of them. And the customers telling us that they like it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's one of my favorites, and that's ranked number 8 in South Carolina that you can play. So, you've got number 8 and number 9 right next to each other, and for, like you said, the recreational golfer, you're not going to find two better courses, and for the tournament player, you're not going to find two much better courses than that. And now there's Sea Pines, which is ranked number 25 of the top 100 public courses in the United States. This is one that everybody thinks that they know because they see it on TV. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
So it's the Harbortown Golf Links in the Sea Pines Resort, and it's been ranked in the top 100 in the world every year since it opened. It was interesting because Mr. Frazier, the visionary that came up with the Sea Pines Resort concept, went to Jack Nicklaus and asked him to design the golf course. But Mr. Nicklaus had not been in the course design business. He was still playing competitively and winning at everybody knows, a real high rate. He suggested that we speak to Pete Dye and a young man from Indianapolis. And Mr. Frazier had said, I'd never heard of Pete Dye. And Jack said, "Well, you will." And so Pete Dye was our golf course architect, but Jack was a design consultant. And he made a lot of visits here and had a lot of Mr. Pete Dye used to give Jack an awful lot of credit for the design features on the Harbortown golf links. And it's unique by today's standards. Most of the tour events have been tiger-proofed, or they've been tour sites are 75, 76, 7,700 yards. We're more of a 69 to 7,100 yard. We're the Wrigley Field or the Fenway Park of the PGA Tour, right? So we're more about brains than brawn. And the tour players have been quick to tell us, please don't mess with it. Please don't tinker with it. Please don't stretch it out. They love the uniqueness to this type of venue. It's not something they see every week because they're used to the big ballparks, and they really like that. So that's why our field strength is so good every year for the Heritage. Even though it's the week after a major, we still get a lot of the household names that come here because they like the relaxed atmosphere that the resort presents. A lot of players come at their wives' insistence too, because their wives like to come to see Pines into Hilton Head. So we're proud of it. We're proud of it, but we're not resting on that. Much like I've described earlier, we're trying to get better at it. We're trying to give tournament type conditions on a year-round basis. Yeah,
I mean it's a great event to even watch. Us amateurs not being able to be playing that week, but while watching the Heritage and not have played Sea Pines, even myself, I haven't been able to play it. What is something that could surprise your everyday player when they go and have the chance to play the course?
It's a good question, Chris. It's the amount of shot shaping that's required here. It's a golf course where you really want to look at your whole location sheet before you hit your tee shot. A lot of places you just need to look at that whole location card, or get your rangefinder out there once you've hit your tee shot. But here, you want to know where's the best place to leave it, because just hitting fairways is insufficient. You got to hit certain sides of the fairways. So you want to listen to your caddy or your caddy, and you want to think your way around. You don't want to overpower it, Chris. You really want to think. You want to have a strategy and a plan 18 times. It's not a place you can get up and wing it and just say, all right, here's my birdie stretch of holes. It's 18 times you got to think. And it's, so when you finish, I think it's a great measurement of a golf course is you don't have to rack your brain to remember what was required of that hole. What did Pete demand of you? And once you play it, you can say, all right, I know on number one, if I'm in between clubs, I want to go long because the green slopes severely from front to back. You want to hit it past the hole. It's easier to recover from long than it is short. You got to go right off the tee, because if you go left, you're blocked out by the trees on the left. You still could be in the fairway, but not have a shot at the hole. You know what I mean? So 18 times you better have a strategy and a plan. Now, whether or not you execute it every time but it sure is fun trying to piece it all together. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I love courses like that. Me being a short hitter, I think I take that to advantage and kind of strategize each hole. So I do need to definitely get out there and play that one at least once.
Please do. Would love to have you.
Yeah, I don't know if I could think that long. 4 hours of thinking for me would I'd be done the rest of the day.
You might not be physically tired, Tim. You might be mentally tired, but not physically tired.
Exactly. I'd be exhausted. So let's go back to the complex where Heron Point and Atlantic Dunes are, and talk about the Plantation Club. All the facilities that are there, all the amenities, because I think it's one of the again, I keep saying this, it's one of my favorite places, to go on the island.
So Tim, you got 36 holes across the street from the beach, and you're on the driving range. You can hear the ocean. You've got a golf learning center there under the direction of Tim Cook, who's one of the top teachers in the country, 5 full-time teaching professionals, a very comprehensive world-class club fitting program through Swing Fit, which is absolutely outstanding. It's the best technology I've seen. Their AI is just off the charts. You've got a big learning driving range where you're hitting. You're not hitting red stripes. You're hitting a premier golf ball every day. And when they get a little tired, we pull them out. So you get to practice with what you play with. We got bunkers, we got putting greens and chipping greens. We got a great place to warm up and to practice and to learn. And in the clubhouse, you've got a fully stocked beautifully arranged golf shop. And then you've got the Fraser's Tavern, which has established itself as the best wings. I'm partial to the dry rub wings, but there are great other wing options, and there's great brisket, pulled pork, great salads. It's a great tavern feel, and it just feels so welcoming. So we really have got a lot going on there that will bring you there and keep you there. So once you get there, you can hang out and really have a full day. And if you're staying nearby, heck, you're across from the beach, you can ride your bike over, hit some balls. It just feels right. And when you're there, I'm glad to hear you feel that way, because I can feel that all the way I want. But what I really want is our guests and members to feel the same way.
Yeah, and when you're at Fraser's eating, you've got the views of the golf courses. You can see people playing. You can see them hitting in, and again, for those that like to exchange money hand to hand, there's some holes that you could maybe have some money exchanging time.
It's a great place to settle up. The 19th hole is a big part of a golf experience, and we've got great decks over there. The outdoor porches are covered with big, huge flat screen TVs with ball games and friendly foods, and it's a great place to settle up. You know, you got to admit that 19th hole, I think it's a huge part of the golf experience.
It is, absolutely.
When you get in and tell partial truths and settle your bets.
Exactly. And the other thing, when we were there for in October for National Championship, you had a guest special teacher, Nancy Lopez, was there giving a clinic to the females.
Nancy brought a group in, which was a treat for us to have her here. It's not uncommon for us to have household names like that here, but it was really neat for her to be here because she's so well regarded, and rightfully so. What a pleasant, lovely lady. So that was neat. I'm glad you were here when she was here.
Well, I was at a different course. I just saw pictures, so I just
I got to visit with her, and just by chance, and she's just so welcoming. She's just kind. She's very well deserving of the reputation she kind of enjoys, right? She's just so nice. I like nice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we went to play Atlantic Dunes, we were the first group off. So like you said, you can hear the beach while you're trying to warm up and all that. And then I think we spent maybe 2 hours at the tavern just watching golfers, which is, kind of weird when people hear it, but golfers understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the other amenities on Sea Pines that the families, you keep bringing up? We want to have this resort for not just the players, but for the families. So while the golfers are golfing, what else can their family members take advantage of on this resort?
I guess the best way to illustrate that, Chris, is the tour players. When they get here, you'll see them riding bikes with their families. So they'll get on bikes to travel instead of getting in a metropolitan area where they got to go negotiate all the traffic and that kind of thing. They travel by bicycle or walk. They're holding hands with their kids on the way to go crabbing or to go fishing. We have a brand new quarter deck, which is at the foot of the candy striped lighthouse, the iconic lighthouse, which is it's got an oyster bar. It's got the second floor with the best sunsets on Hilton Head. It's really just a dynamite building for lunch and dinner, happy hour, private parties, etc. So inside the resort, you can do just about anything you want. You want to go on a dolphin cruise, you can do it. You want to go crabbing, you can do it. You want to go fishing in a forest preserve, you can do it. It's just so much to do. That's why I think I spoke to earlier is the tour players' wives really insist on it when they look at their schedules. Where can they compete? Where do they think they got the best chance of winning? How does it fit their family schedule? And then a lot of times their wives say, hey, we're going there because of what I just described, the warmth. And then it's interesting, a lot of the tour players have been quoted by saying, the greatest 3 hours of Masters week is the 3 hours drive from Augusta to Hilton Head. Because they love getting down here to the relaxed atmosphere that the resort
That's awesome.
presents.
I mean, when we go to nationals, it's always just me that goes. But now that you're talking about everything that we could do, I might have to bring the wife and kids up. I think they'll have a great time, especially with that beach right there. And you mentioned crabbing. That sounds very interesting. Coming from a Texas family that loves to eat crab at least 2 or 3 times a month. That sounds like that'd be a fun trip.
Look, Chris, be careful. If you do that, you'll end up moving to Hilton Head.
Yeah, you won't regret it.
Yeah, see, I like the Texas heat.
Well, summertime, it gets plenty warm. Trust me there. So, John, is there anything else that we should let our players and their families know about the Sea Pines overall resort?
Yeah, I would encourage your participants to come a day, just see if they can't wedge a day in early or a day in later, just to say and enjoy all of what we've just discussed. You don't want to have to rush in and rush out of here. This is a place you want to kind of come in and let it all soak in. So there's so much to do. Try and add a day on either end and enjoy all that the island presents.
And then, if you keep doing that, then you end up moving there, which would be great. But anyway, John, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us today. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks.
That's great. Thanks, guys. Have a happy holiday to all of you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor, Srixon.
ZX Mark II drivers are for major players, major winners, major power. All new ZX Mark II drivers, only from Srixon.
All right, Chris. It was really good to have John on. He's a busy guy. He's got a lot of things going on with, as being director of sports at Sea Pines. With not only dealing with golf, but all the recreational activities, tennis, pickleball, et cetera. So it was good to have him on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you're out there on the island for golf week, it's just crazy in itself for the national championship. So glad we were able to get some time from him. There's so much to do in that area. Being on an island, you wouldn't think there'd be much to do. But their resort, it's for all ages, families, golfers. Like you said, pickleball. I remember the pickleball championship that was there. It was a circus to get around, but there were more pickleball players than I could ever imagine in one place. So yeah, it was good talking with him.
Yeah, and you talked about pickleball. I know this is a Golf Week podcast, but pickleball is probably the fastest growing sport in the country, and it's with Jen and I, pretty much being on the island full time, it's nonstop. I'm just telling you, it's crazy there with how they're converting, in resorts all on the island, how they're converting tennis courts into pickleball courts. But it's crazy.
I have never heard of the sport pickleball until we were there and they had their championship. But yes, it is crazy and how fast and quick your reflexes have to be. It's a sport to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah. And the other thing, we joked about it with John that, if you come, you start spending more and more time there, you eventually move there. That's in all seriousness, that's what happens. The number of people that I know of who have bought property in Hilton Head because of the tour, it's crazy. I mean, it's literally crazy. Like I've got 5 guys just on the Atlanta tour that have done it. I know there was 3 guys when I was the Upstate tour director that have done it. And that's just that. There's 4 or 5 guys from the DC tour that are talking about doing it, and I know that it's happened. For people in Charlotte and Chicago and St. Louis as well.
Yeah, it grows every time. Typically for the national championship, coming from all the way West Texas, we'll plan a trip. We'll make it a buddies trip, and we'll go play some courses off the island, and then drive in. And every year, it seems like more and more construction's happening, development's happening, and there's stores that I didn't even know were there that are brand spanking new. So yeah, that island's getting bigger every year we go, and I can imagine people just buying houses, just for even vacation properties, if anything.
Yeah, people are flocking to it. That's for sure. Let's talk about some of these regionals, and we had John Farrell again. We had John Farrell on from Sea Pines, and we didn't really talk about the first course for the Icebreaker, which is Robert Trent Jones' course in Palmetto Dunes. Everybody should be familiar with that one. That's a staple in the national championship rotation. Like I said about Sea Pines. The Atlantic Dunes is one of my favorite courses, and the Jones course in Palmetto Dunes is another one of my favorites. You're talking about two completely different nines, where the front nine is fairly tight and the back nine is wide open. You've got the long par 5 hitting right into the ocean. If there's any wind coming in, that's a 4 or 5 shot hole. Doesn't really matter, how far you hit it, because that wind comes in pretty strong.
Oh yeah. When I played it for the national championship, I think both days I played that course, it happened to be the 2 windiest days of the week, and trying to go into that par 5 seemed like a par 8. But no, it is real fun. I know there's one hole. It's memorable to me, at least. It's right off the main highway there, and I duck hooked it to the left. Avoided all the cars that happened to be driving down there, but we could see it on the other side. So across both roads onto the other side, we debated for about 10 seconds on whether I should try and cross the road to get the ball, and just left it there for somebody walking by. But no, it is a fun course. It's one of those courses where either you can get caught up in the scenery or get caught up on the golf. A lot of fun for that one.
Yeah, I wonder how many cars a year get hit right there, because it really doesn't take much to miss it, and it's going to go over those bushes. I wouldn't even call them trees. They're normally everything is blocked in by the trees, but it's just maybe 10-foot high bushes.
Oh yeah, they're not tall at all. So there was no help. I mean, when I even drive by now, I kind of keep an eye out just to see if any stray golf balls are coming by, or if people are on the green. Because if people are on the green, we're probably safe at that point. I think it's a par 3, not a par 4.
Well, actually, there's a par 4 right before that par 3, right there on the highway.
Okay, yeah, I remember every time I drive by, so it's a funny story to tell whoever's in the car.
And one thing about the Icebreaker is it's already sold out. But I would suggest anybody who wants to get in, I would still go ahead and register. And Chris, as a tour director, people drop out all the time for various reasons. And if you go ahead and register, you could be one of the first people on the list to get in. So if you're still interested in playing, that's what I would do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. There is quite a few players on there on that wait list. So Tim's right. Put your name in there. See if maybe something happens. You never know what could happen. We see it all the time. But it sold out pretty quick. And, with those 2 courses at the price point that it is, it's a bargain.
And then right after the Icebreaker, we move right into the Western Icebreaker. And again, I don't know how to pronounce the name. I think it's the Palte Resort. And hopefully, the head pro there is committed. They did say that they would come on. So hopefully we'll have them on for the next time, and they can tell me how to pronounce it, because I don't want to butcher it.
Right.
But Chris, have you ever played over there?
I have not played there. I am trying to actually make my way down there for this event. Vegas courses, they're phenomenal all year round. But I've heard some good things about it. I've heard that one of the courses is real tight, bunkers pretty big, and the other course is just, you have to be smart around it. So I'm hoping we get that pro on so we can kind of pick his brain on how to maneuver his 2 courses. But as I'm looking right now on the roster, there's plenty of spots open. All the flights are pretty big right now. There's plenty of spots open, and there's a pretty good waiting list just trying to get guys on that roster. So If you are interested, definitely sign up. It is max at, from what I'm looking here, 120 players, and about half of it's already full.
Yeah, so there's still plenty of open spots for the Western Icebreaker.
Yep, and like I said, I'm gonna try to get out there. Trying to bring a couple of my El Paso guys, but Vegas in general is always fun. If you're able to go out, play some golf in the mornings, looking like 9 o'clock shotguns both days, and then go catch a show or a concert or I would say a Raiders game, but I don't know if they're gonna be playing that far into January.
No.
But anyways, there's a lot of other things you can do.
Hit the casinos and make some donations.
There you go. I haven't come out there with a positive result in the 3 times I've been to Vegas. So good luck.
Yeah. It's kind of a funny thing. My daughter got married last week, and a number of years ago, I went to a tournament out there and took her with me, and I said, when we're not playing, we'll go into town and we'll go shop and do some other things. And I took her into the MGM Grand, and at the time she was like 17 years old, and we got promptly escorted out because the two of us were playing slots.
Yeah, I've had some fun times in Vegas, and golf has been a big part of that. So it's this tour has been a big part of that, being able to go out there and play some events. My first time out there was when I was going to be an assistant director, and the director at the time sent me out there to go learn our new system, all expense paid. So I'm not going to say no to that, and have it, have gone every year. So Western States Icebreaker is going to be a lot of fun this year.
Yeah, the courses look great. So again, I'd get on it, and hopefully, like I said, we can get the pro one for our next broadcast, and he can give us all the details of what our players can expect.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the next regional on the list is the Phil Robinson Memorial at Reynolds Lake Oconee, and for those of you that don't know, Phil Robinson was our oldest tour director, who died last January of cancer, and he was very instrumental in starting this regional with John Lavoti of the Columbia Tour a number of years ago, and I kind of stepped in to help run it and organize it, and so with Phil dying, and we want to remember our tour directors and everything that they've brought to our tour. That's why we named it after him. And as you know, his granddaughter now runs the Augusta Tour, and she's doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I got to meet her at the directors meeting. We talked about being first time director, what I went through, what she can expect, but they're doing awesome there. It's nice to see that they kept it in the family. We're, as directors, we're all one family, but to keep it actually in your family is pretty cool, and I can't wait to see what they're able to do. Yeah,
again, she's done a phenomenal job, and we're hoping to do a nice little ceremony honoring Phil, before we tee off on that Saturday. Now, I've been involved in this regional since it started, and this time it's going to be a little bit different. Right. It's always been somewhat different because the course that we've been on, the national course, actually has 3 9s. And what we've done is we've done shotgun starts and utilized all 3 9s each day. So everybody will get at least 9 holes on each of the 3, and it kind of provides a little bit of a variety. Let's just say to the tournament. So you're going to play 2 of the 9s well, you're going to play at least 1-9 twice. Let's put it that way. And you're going to, and again, it makes the pace of play go so much faster because you've got 120, 140 players spread out over 27 holes as opposed to 18 holes.
Yeah, we have a couple courses here that have the 3 9s, and we do that at the Tin Cup Shootout that we'll probably talk about later on next year for Arizona. They have 3 9s as well. It just makes it fun because it's not the same course you're playing 2 days straight. You get to mix it up. You get to make your players think about which of the 2 of the 3 9s they're playing. Just looking at this picture here on the website, that one hole just looks like a Augusta National hole. And then I assume that's a little creek right in the front. It's just something where, you have to think, am I going to go long into that creek or am I going to lay up? I promise you this much. If it keeps staying at that course, it's going to be one that I'm going to have to go out to because every year me and my brother are picking, and a couple guys from El Paso, regional to go to every year. And this might have to be one that we attend.
Yeah, the national course, it's beautiful, and all 3 9s are a little bit different. They're all challenging, and where the clubhouse is, you can see not this hole, but a hole that's very similar to this, where there's a much bigger creek, and we can watch as guys are coming in to on that 9th hole, and how they navigate coming around that creek and trying to make par, because we're not even talking about making birdie on those types of holes. Can they make par? Can they drive it to the center of the fairway? Because if you drive it to the right side, you have no choice but to carry. It's maybe 180, 190 yard carry over the creek. But if you get it in the center to the left side of the fairway, center fairway, you're good. You don't have to worry about the creek. But even if you go left side of the fairway, now you do have some traps you got to deal with, but you're still going to be safe staying away from the creek. And what's going to be different this year is, in the past we've done both days at the National, and this year we're going to go Saturday at the National and then Sunday at the Oconee course. Okay, so the Oconee course actually, they've got 2 main or what they call the top tier courses at Reynolds. One is Great Waters and the other is the Oconee. Now, Great Waters hosted an LPGA event there last year, and the Oconee course is on that same level. And what you're going to find with the Oconee course is water. That's what I'm going to tell you. There's water all over the place. It's probably one of the most challenging courses I've ever played, but also one of the most scenic.
Yeah, I'm looking here at the overview you guys have of it, and just that hole alone is more water than we have here in El Paso, so it would be intimidating for us. But it looks fun, and that's what these regionals bring. They bring courses that are fun to play. It's going to bring the best out of each player to try and win. Yeah, looking at the Oconee course, there's more water on this picture than there is in El Paso, which is intimidating for us on the West Coast. But the course looks fun, and that's what the regionals bring is fun courses for you to come play, but also challenge you at the same time. I may just have to make a trip to Georgia just to play these 2 courses. I don't know how long the drive is from Georgia to Hilton Head, but that might be an option for me, at least for one of these years going to national championship.
Yeah, it's really not that far from Hilton Head to Reynolds. It's about 3 hours. But it's when you look at if you pull up the Golf Week courses you can play list, almost all of the Lake Oconee courses are there, just in Georgia.
Wow.
Very, very highly rated courses in Georgia.
Wow, that's crazy. Because when you think Georgia, you think of the Masters and all of that. But I'm telling you, I'm looking at these pictures and they look like it'd be a lot of fun. Now looking at the registration, there's still plenty of spots available. So if you are interested in that one, definitely go to the website amateurgolftour.net and get your name on that list so you can get out there and play.
Yeah, we got to get some of these registrations over and paid, and I have no doubt that this one won't sell out as well, though. I mean, it's I would be shocked if all of our regionals don't sell out. And just like last year, though, remember if you win a regional, you automatically qualify for national championship. As long as you meet the number of rounds quota that you need to have, which I believe is 5.
Yeah,
and so so that's also an incentive to come out and play as well.
Yeah, definitely. It gives you that sense of, you made the national championship. I know. And I'm pretty sure this goes all across the country. The points races can get pretty close. And if people are trying to travel for the national championship, that one win at a regional can kind of ease that burden or the monkey on your back or whatever you want to call it to try and qualify at least for a national championship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so next on the list is the April 8th and 9th Smoky Mountain Regional at Sequoia National Golf Club in North Carolina.
I said, I've never been there, but it looks wide open from what their homepage is showing. It looks pretty wide open. Have you had the chance to play it?
I have not. So I believe this is the second year of this regional.
Okay.
A couple years ago, I was asked if I wanted to do a regional up there, and I said no, primarily because I already had the Whistling Straits regional and the Oconee regional, and as a tour director doing one regional, it's a lot of extra work. It's a regular tournament, but there's so much more that goes into the planning and running of those major events than a regular tournament. And I also, said that you really need to have somebody who is in the market, who knows the course, who knows the surrounding areas, so that you can build the event that's not necessarily for just the golfers, but the golfers' families in case they're going, so that they have other things that they can do as well. So. The person running this is Scott Ide, and he did a phenomenal job last year, and I'm sure he'll do just a good job this year.
Yeah, it reminds me of just looking at these pictures. Reminds me of courses that we could kind of have in the mountains in our area. But what I find interesting is this event is a double shotgun event. So you kind of get, best of both worlds. If you're an early riser, then you have that 8 a.m. shotgun. And if you're lucky and get that 1:30 shotgun, then you don't have to worry about waking up so early, and you can kind of have a good breakfast and hang out in the morning and then go play some golf. So that's pretty interesting. 180 players is what they're looking to get. And I don't think that would be a problem to get guys out there to do that. and their family.
I don't think so either. But let me just caution you, Chris, about doing double shotguns. And if you ever want to do it, talk to Lau, because Lau Joyner in Tidewater, he does it on a regular basis. The first year I did Whistling Straits, we did double shotguns. And we did double shotgun on Saturday, and then on Sunday we did double tees.
Okay.
So 1 in 10 starting in the morning, then 1 in 10 starting at 1, and those are long days. Trying to make sure that you are getting the right breakdown of the flights and the pairings, so that to make it as even as possible. It's a lot more work, and it's obviously it's more fun for our players, because again it cuts down on pace of play, but those are long days, and trying to flip things over, because remember now, let's just say you go off in the afternoon on Saturday, that means you're off in the morning on Sunday,
right?
Playing as well. So, and it's that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, but let's remember, we're the tour where we say the amateurs play like pros, and these pros do it every weekend. So it kind of gives that extra excitement for our tour on what we're able to provide.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, from just being at Whistling Straits, the guys loved it. They absolutely they love the idea of even going off late on Saturday, and if they had an early tee time on Sunday, they were fired up coming in Sunday, being able to tee off at 7:30, 8 o'clock on number 1 or number 10 at Whistling Straits. It was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it does. It can change your game pretty quickly when you have an afternoon start, because you're able to actually get your body going. Especially if you're talking about Whistling Straits. I know last year I went, and it can get pretty cold up there real quick. So being able to warm up that body really helps.
And again, remember now, Lyle Jordan in Tidewater does double shotguns on a regular basis. So
bless his heart.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the Smoky Mountain Regional. The first is the 8th and 9th of April. Double shotgun event should be a good time.
Definitely. And this last one we're going to talk about, though, I think I'm going to avoid it as much as I can, and I'll tell you why after you bring it in. But it's one of the bigger ones that we have as far as course recognition can be. So go ahead and I'll tell you my story.
Yeah, the Florida Regional at Innisbrook, phenomenal courses down there, and if you're going to travel to a regional, I would definitely put this one on the bucket list.
Yeah. So I always attend the TPC Scottsdale Regional in September. I help Gabe out there run it, because having 240 guys out there is a lot of work for one director, and it's a lot of work for two directors. So 2020, we decided to go ahead and start venturing out to other regionals to play. Me and a couple of guys here paid, ready to go, got the hotel ready. And the day before we were going to fly out is when the whole country shut down. So that's why this regional is a thorn in my side every time I see it, because I can't wait till we can go back. But it's one of those things like, do I really want to be the bad luck and start another pandemic? Which is silly to think about now, but it was. I'm telling you, we had bags packed, tickets printed, ready to go, and everything canceled within a matter of an hour. Cancellation emails, and it was insane.
Well, get back out there. I mean, it's
great. I mean, think about it. How many times can you go? I mean, you can go and play these courses anytime you want, but to go and have that tournament atmosphere, that competitive atmosphere to play these courses that the PGA Tour on a regular basis goes to play. You can go to Copperhead and play, but so and so walked these fairways or they hit the shot from here, but now you need to make that same shot to stay in contention is what brings these regionals and all our tournaments to the highest level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we're not talking about it right now, but the Chicago Tour is hosting a senior regional at TPC Deer Run, and they're doing it literally right after the John Deere Open.
Oh wow!
So the John Deere Open, it ends on Sunday, and I think that they play there on Monday. So they're really going to get the true professional experience.
Oh yeah, they may even have the same Sunday pin placements, which would be kind of cool to see and to play on.
Yeah, it's very possible. Very possible.
So looking here,
so the Valspar Championship is March 16th to the 19th, and so this regional is taking place, really only a month later. So you're still going to be playing in really really good conditions. Maybe not necessarily the tournament conditions, but they keep. Let's just put it this way. I know they keep the Copperhead course as close to tournament conditions all year long as they can.
Oh yeah, I believe that. Going down the list, last year we played Whistling Straits, and it felt like I was putting on glass. Every year, like I said, I play the TPC Scottsdale, and that course, they keep it tip-top shape year-round. I wish they kept that stadium up. That'd make it even cooler. Because you go to that par 3 and it don't even look the same like it does on TV. But you see all these plaques around the course of, this is where Tiger's Boulder was when the gallery moved it, or this is where so and so hit a 5-iron 300 yards. It seems like nowadays. It's just cool. It's cool to see. It's cool to walk and be able to see these things or the scenery. I've said it before. You can either get caught up in the scenery or get caught up in golf, and that's what makes it fun to go out and play these events.
Yeah, it does. It really does. So again, hopefully we're going to have the pros from Pote and Reynolds on in our next episode. But in the meantime, let's find out what's going on. What's going on with you as we get ready to head into the Christmas break. What's going on in El Paso?
Everything's been good. It's membership has gone up. It's more than it was last year, which is encouraging. I can't wait to get started. You mentioned a couple episodes that we're under 30 days until the actual first event in the country. And I think after this weekend, I'm 30 days away from my first event. But it's been a lot of fun. This year we have some good courses. I've gotten good compliments about our schedule. So can't wait to get the season started. How about you?
Well, number one, that's good to hear, and we're really kind of in the same boat. Numbers are better than they were last year, which again is a good sign. We're still struggling a little bit to get our schedule done. Let's just say struggling in terms of convincing the courses to let us have those Saturday and Sunday events. I think we're about. Let's see. I think we've got 2 more courses we're waiting on, and then we'll be done. But we just locked up our final 2-day event, which is I think the players are really going to be excited about. and that's going to be at Callaway Gardens. You heard it here first, folks. Callaway Gardens, and they used to hold the Buick Challenge there up until the mid 2000s. I think 2005 was the last year that they had it there. So Callaway Gardens for Atlanta's final local championship.
That's cool.
So
I mean, that brings a big course to the schedule, especially for your finale. You know, being from where I'm from in El Paso, there's only so many courses that are within a 3-hour drive. So me being able to juggle tour finals or majors around the two cities can get repetitive pretty quickly. But it's cool to hear, you know, we got this course or we locked in this new course. Because I was able to do that this year with 2 courses in Albuquerque that are always in the top 5 to 10 in the state. So excited to hear that it's happening elsewhere as well.
Yeah, and again, you know, having the ability to get, you know, high quality courses is let's talk about it like this, Chris, because you know, again, you know, as a tour director, we're dealing with different types of golfers, right? We have the golfer that is a competitive golfer that wants to compete. We have the recreational golfer who wants to be able to play with friends on multiple courses across the country, and just play, maybe compete, maybe not compete, but plays to have fun. And then we have the golfer who looks at schedules and will join and play on courses that they wouldn't normally get a chance to play on. And so when we build our tour and we build our schedules, we're looking to attract all these different types of golfers, and to be able to have some of those courses in each market is a key driver to the success of a course. The success of a tour.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It brings those new members that will come and say, you know, I've never even heard of this course. So I'm definitely going out there to play. Or how did you get on this private course? You have to know somebody who knows somebody. So that is what brings that competitive edge to the Golf Week Tour, and even the Senior Tour, is being able to get these courses that you might not get a chance to play, or you might not even think of driving, you know, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to go play a course because you didn't even know it was around.
Right.
And that, again, that's what brings our tour experience to the next level.
Yeah. And again, that's what guys tell us. And I keep saying guys, but you got to remember we do have a lot of females as well. So we got to make sure that you know we don't, you know, forget about them. But that's what our members tell us, and so we're going to continue to listen to what they want and build successful tours around those types of things. And again, those are things that make us the oldest and largest amateur tour in the country.
Definitely.
So, anyway,
and you know, you bring up the ladies. I just had this past weekend a preseason kind of fun event, you know, Christmas fun event. We and you might think this is silly. We moved up everybody a tee box or two to kind of make it closer because it was kind of cold that day. But I gave everybody a piece of string that was as long as their Golf Week handicap. So let's say you were a 10 handicap, you got a 10-foot string, and you could use that string anywhere. If you needed to get away from a bush, you put that string on the ground, you pull it out, and then that's your new spot. And when you were on the green, if you were within that string length from the flag, you hold it in like it was a hole out.
Oh, wow.
And the only girl on our tour ended up beating me in a putt off on 18. We tied and went back on the green, ended up putt off, and she beat me by draining I didn't want to say it was maybe a 12, 15 footer. Ball rolled around the cup and went in, and it was a lot of fun.
Good for her.
It's
Good for her.
it's one of those events where we just went out, we had some fun. A couple holes, I threw in a one club challenge or a random 2-man scramble. And we just had a blast. And I can't think of any other groups that might go out and do that and just, hey, let's just come out and play. We're going to have a little competition and throw a couple wrenches out there for them.
It does sound like a good time. How many players did you get out there?
We got about 3 tee times worth. Okay. But then it starts the cold here in El Paso, so a couple of them dropped out. But it was a good time. It was a great time. I even gave them.
I mean, that's so great at this time of year when with the holidays and everything else is going on.
Yeah, it was fun. And then every January we do a 2-man scramble member guest to bring the guest out to kind of meet other members, talk about the tour right before we start our events. And I use it as a great way to invite them back and try an actual competitive event as a guest. Because now they know we're around. They've met the director. They've met some other people that they might play with it within their flight. So that one ends up being, I think last time we had 45, 50 teams come out.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big one. They really enjoy that one.
That's awesome.
And the whole roller coaster starts after that. It doesn't stop until national championship.
How is your 12 days of raffle going?
It's going good, actually. It is fun because the winners are guys that have been on tour for a while. And the thing that I do is I make them, or not make them, I have them respond to the social media posts in order to claim their prize. So it shows that, they're sharing our social media, and nowadays 2022, 23, social media is almost everything. So it's been a lot of fun. In fact, if you want, we can do what is going to be my 8th day. Yeah, we can do the 8th day drawing right now if you want, and then kind of give a little wrinkle to get some more members to listen to our podcast.
Let's do it.
All right, let me get that ready. Do you do anything like that? 12 Days of Christmas? I know you mentioned it. I do. Time.
And so the drawing that we did yesterday, I did something a little bit different. We do a member guest during the year, where everybody that brings a guest, they're kind of entered into a little side competition where they'll get a prize, no extra cost. And the course that we're doing that on, they're throwing in a $5 per person pro shop credit. So the winner of yesterday's raffle got to be able to win the prize. They have to play in the member guest. They have to bring a guest, but the guest will play for free, and they will get the $5 times the number of players that we have in pro shop credit.
Nice.
So, if we have 60 guys, they'll get, $300. If we have 80 guys, we'll get $400. So, it also encourages them to not only bring a guest, but to encourage other people to play and bring guests as well.
Yeah, definitely. Those members' guests can go a long way. And that's pretty cool. I'm going to have to just join your tour just to get on that one.
Come on out.
All right. So real quick, just my little spiel, this is going to be the drawing for the El Paso Las Cruces 12 Days of Christmas. So this will be for day number 9 of the 12 Days of Christmas. Now let me prepare you. I borrowed this idea from Kyle, because he does 25 Days of Christmas, which is crazy. But I noticed we use the same name jar, and his had music, so I figured out how to put music on the mine. So I hope you're ready for the music.
Let's hear it.
But here we go. And the winner is actually a new member who came and played out with us at our preseason event. His name is Ozzy Vasquez. And I didn't even mention what I was giving away, but because this episode is going to deal around regional events, he actually is going to be the winner of the TPC Scottsdale Western Players Championship. So he will just need to comment on the post tomorrow when the podcast airs. I hope he's listening, and see if he can claim his prize. It'll be interesting.
Chris, that's a great prize. And Ozzy, congratulations. And hope you listen. Hope you comment and claim your prize. Otherwise, and you actually, if he doesn't do that, you actually do a redraw the next day, don't you?
Yeah. If he doesn't claim his prize, we'll definitely do a redraw for that one, because I know everybody would want a piece of that. So I hope he's listening. I'll give him a day or two to go ahead and, because he is a new member, listen, follow us, listen, and make that comment, because I won't be announcing it on the social media. This is the only place we're announcing the winner for that raffle.
Oh boy. So well, I'm sure all of your members, all my members are already listening, have this, have our podcast on download and it starts playing automatically as soon as it gets posted, I'm sure.
Yeah. I've been pushing it. I know, you've shared some numbers with me before, and, hopefully this new year, we start getting up there. I know we've had a good start. This is what I want to say, 8th or 9th, maybe 10th episode. Yeah. Tim, it's been a lot of fun. It's crazy because I gave away the TPC Scottsdale regional, and I was actually there playing when you called me to ask me to be your co-host. So, it's been a fun ride. I can't wait for what's to come in 2023. And moving forward, maybe we got to make a plan on hitting some of these regionals and doing some live podcasts out at these events.
Yeah. Number one, Chris, I know I've said this before, but this to me is kind of a passion project, and I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else. When I brought it up to Dennis and Jennifer, they said, sure, go ahead and do it. And as I was talking to Jen, I said, number one, nobody wants to hear me talk. I've got the face for radio and the voice for silent movies, and nobody wants to hear me talk. And as I'm not one who is generally communicating with tour directors on a regular basis, but I look and I watch and I see what other tour directors are doing all the time. I may not reach out to them, but I see what they're doing, and watching how much you've grown over the last couple of years and some of the great things that you're doing. I said, you're really, not that we're, very much different in age, but I've been doing this for so long. You're the future of tour directors. It's not me. It's not necessarily Lyle. It's, you're from the younger generation, just like, the PGA Tour, the young guns who are right, who are the future of the PGA Tour. It's people like you who are the future of tour directors, who have great ideas, who know how to use the tools that they have to grow tours, put on phenomenal events, and be responsive to their members. And that's what you're doing. It doesn't go unnoticed. Let's put it that way. And I can't imagine doing this with anybody else.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words. It's been one of these things where if you asked me 5 years ago, would you ever be running tournaments? I would have told you no. I can't even swing a golf club. Why would I even think of doing that? And now building the tour to where it's at. And like you said, being able to help other new tour directors that come in. Because this is only my 4th year doing this, I believe.
Mm-hmm. You're going into year 4.
Yeah, it's crazy to even think of that, and to think where we've been, and being able to help, the new tour directors in Louisiana, or getting calls from the tour director in California, the tour director in Seattle, just being able to having those conversations and kind of walking through together how to get either a situation or anything is fun. It's fun to me, and meeting all these people has been great. So 2023 is going to be awesome for every tour we have, for all the members. Good luck to every event that you come out to play. But remember to have fun. It is a competitive round, but you can also still have fun at the same time.
Absolutely. And I think, again, I think you hit the nail on the head. Even though it's competitive, it's got to be fun. If you're not having fun, then you're not doing it right, and you're probably in the wrong place, because you can be competitive and be a bad golfer and still have a blast. You can be competitive and be a great golfer and still have a blast.
Yep.
And that the camaraderie and the idea of having fun while we're doing this is a driver of what makes us successful. It just really is. And I'm speaking from experience, just from when I was a tour director of a different tour before I came on with Dennis Jenner in Golf Week. It became so corporate, it wasn't fun anymore. And our Golf Week amateur tours, it's like a family. It's fun. I look forward to it. Obviously at the end of the season, it's time for a break, but I look forward to seeing the guys every week. I look forward to Chris doing this with you, and again, it's a passion project. It's if we're not having fun, we shouldn't be doing it. Let's just put it that way.
It's been a lot of fun. Get to meeting people. I can't wait to see what guests we bring on for the new year, because we're going to enjoy this weekend, enjoy the holidays with our family, enjoy the New Year's time, and next episode will drop in 2023.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and wrap it up there, Chris. I think you said it best. Our next episode will be on January 4th. Wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate, and a happy New Year. Season starts right around the corner, and we'll see you in 2023. Take care.
Have a good one.
Chris, we didn't do it again.
What didn't we do?
We didn't say how to join the tour.
That's right. It's simple. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership.
Thanks, Chris. Membership for 2024 is open, so register today to join the oldest, largest, and best amateur tour in the country.